Rogue Trader. You know, the ambience in this scene could be a little higher. It's kind of hauntingly quiet as is. Make sure everything's set up correctly. Looks like it is. We got the 2 DLCs ready to go. I think there'll be more DLCs. There's a second season pass that they talk about. A starship graveyard warped by madness and face the Necrons. Wow. But we're not worried about that. We're just gonna start a new game here. Scenario. Take up the mantle of a rogue trader, the scion of an ancient dynasty of daring privateers that reign over their trade protectorate and explore the fringes of the known galaxy. Darkness looms over the bloodline of Von Valencius as it faces multiple threats, from within its own ranks and without, as countless enemies seek to destroy the most daring and brave agents of humanity. It is up to us to hold the reins of this shattered protectorate and forge a new path for the Von Valencius dynasty, currently finding itself in a vortex of wars, intrigues, calamities, and heresy. The stakes are high, and rise even higher as we cross paths with terrifyingly powerful and ambitious adversaries in the darkness of the Corona's expanse. We're going to play on story mode. We could make it even easier, actually. Why don't we just make it really easy? So, it looks like decreasing those makes things easier. Increasing that makes things easier. Party momentum gain modifier, minimum damage dealt. We'll just play on story mode. But we will use Grim Darkness, why not? So we can't reload our saves. All our decisions will be final. That could break bad, potentially. There's some times when things could... Maybe we shouldn't do that. I don't care about the reward, and I might potentially want to, space combat difficulty. Is there a trivial option? I'm not interested in it being hard. I played the game about a third of the way through, maybe a little less, on normal mode, and found it mostly pretty easy. But combat is extremely frequent, so I kind of want to be able to breeze through it without too much trouble. Create our very own rogue trader. There's a bunch of appearances in here that are pretty cool, actually. I built a custom one of myself. Yeah, new appearances for the new DLC. There's a Psyker. Captain Janeway going on. I like the respirator, but not so much the holy orders here. This would be a fun masculine character. Maniac. This guy's alright. Rogue. Commissar. Oh, he's topless over there. It changes the icon, that's funny. The character portrait. We're going to use this custom portrait. This is an image by Archon of Flesh, who I believe has left the Warhammer 40k fandom at this point. But I borrowed this image, scrubbed the cock out of it, and I think I'm going to use it as my portrait. So we'll go with that. It really suggests Psyker, doesn't it, when we're that corrupted, but unfortunately, I think we want to use several Psykers in our party, and they kind of work against each other when you've got more than one. So it's possible we're going to choose a different origin here. Voidborn are humans birthed in the belly of a void vessel or aboard an ancient orbital satellite. Those who've lived their lives on void ships become inured to some extent due to the reality-altering process of warp travel and to living in lower zero-gravity environments. In many cases, their features are drawn and their skin pallid. They may even have minor deformities or a strangeness to their speech, gait, or general appearance that sets them apart from others. Look at this fortune feat. Reroll any failed attack, dodge, parry characteristic, or skill test with a 20% chance of success. Any? You just get a 1 in 5 chance to succeed every time you fail? Any enemy, dodge, or parry against a voidborn character has a 20% chance to fail after a successful roll. That's really good. We're interested in fellowship. We like dialogue options. Hive World. The Hive World's population is so dense that great swathes of the surface of the world are frequently covered in gargantuan cities bejeweled with towering spires that pierce the atmosphere. Hive Worlds are vital to the welfare of the Imperium, and to the beating heart of its economy and war machine. They produce munitions for the Emperor's armies and vast manufactories, mine valuable minerals, and refine fuel for the Imperial Navy. Innumerable regiments of the Astra Militarum are raised from their massive populations as well. Forge worlds are Mechanicus worlds. Imperial worlds are more normal worlds. These are somewhat less extreme. Humanity's finest. Can select any characteristic except for attack and add 10 bonus. You got miscellaneous additional bonuses. Fortress worlds are planets which their entire populace is immersed in warfare. Wow, down on fellowship. We go with the hive world. Astra Militarum Commander, so what's our background? So Sanctioned Psyker is what I'm always drawn to, but as I said, I kind of want to use a couple Psykers in the team, and they are opposed to one another. Let's change our appearance as well. Actually, I didn't notice we could do this. Lose the beard, please. No beard. Let's make sure he's not a Psyker so we can actually see. No. Origin. Noble. You serve me. YSM. The noble assigns one ally who will become their servant until the end of combat. Anytime the noble's abilities affect the servant, they gain +5 to all characteristics until the start of the noble's next turn. Anytime the servant attacks a target that the noble dealt damage last turn, the servant gains critical hit chance. Wow. Lily, hush. Stop whining. Whiny dog. Only once per combat. You serve me. Intelligence, fellowship, coercion, persuasion, fellowship. You do something. If the noble uses an ability on their servant, the servant gets +1 AP next turn. Wow. You protect me. That's pretty good. You, go on. +2 movement every turn. You, kill it. If the servant kills the target the noble dealt damage last turn, the noble gains +1 AP. You are next. If the servant has less than 30% maximum wounds, the noble can use You serve me once more in battle, designated a new servant, removing the effect from the previous one. You can move it around. That's fun. Those are really fun combinations for a leader guy, which is I think what we're going to be doing under our archetype. That's a little further along though. Hello. So why do we have cyber gear? Is that unavoidable or could we change it? Hello, Lily. Hi. Oh, he's back. Just as I started recording, he's back. I guess I'll throw this on pause then and say hello to him. Alright, poked around a little and got to a look that I was happy with, and I do think that I like the noble's appearance here. Or the abilities that they're bringing in. Let's push on forward. What was our triumph? Our strong presence and persuasiveness stopped the feudal war between neighboring systems. We were named planetary governor and survived, having made useful connections on both sides of the law. We had a rival noble's house reputation destroyed and its members exiled from the sector. Apex of brilliance, persuasion. The mysterious tome that was discovered in our family library exacted a terrible toll on our mind. We are a bastard, an illegitimate member of a family that immediately turned its back on us. Shadow of Torment, we were kidnapped for ransom and our captors mistreated us up to the moment we were released. We can lose some lore Imperium, that's fine. Lots of people have really high lore Imperium. We might be able to cheat as well and not fail any checks. Not sure about that. Excuse me. I believe as an officer we'd like to be. Blade Dancer is available to us, which is pretty sweet. That's a DLC one. Why is the other DLC one not here? Where's the other DLC one? Is it not active here? But why would that be the case? Maybe you just can't... Maybe it doesn't work like that? I'm not sure. Well, whatever. I guess we'll just make sure it's turned on after we've started the game. It's fine. We're going to be an officer anyway. We use our willpower and fellowship to improve the combat capabilities of our allies, turn them into even greater threats on the battlefield. So we do lose willpower for being Hive Worlder. Does anybody else gain fellowship? We could be a Void Fella instead. They gain willpower and don't lose fellowship. Anytime you spore a crit, there's a 10% chance to do double crit, Contagious Luck, using a non-damaging ability that, an ally that grants the ability to reroll. Using a non-damaging ability on an ally grants that ally the ability to reroll fit, so it gives you your luck, yeah. That's not a good enough chance. That should be 100% chance. Jinx. Just more likely to do to succeed when you're healthy. Anytime an ability or talent uses the fellowship bonus, avoid one character can instead use an intelligence bonus. Oh, that's interesting if it's higher. I always upgrade intelligence, so actually, if I took Be Smart, I could neglect. But I think I do want to have... Also, I don't know what it would mean to be a royal Voidborn. What does Imperial World confer? Oh, no stats. Imperial World is just the default. Alright, well, we'll take the -5 fellowship. Well, no, that's not what we wanted. We wanted the high world. The -5 willpower is fine. Characteristics, okay. Weapon skill's a good one to advance. Yeah, not weapon skill. We're not going to be a melee character. We're going to be a ballistics character. Good to be able to shoot things, and then good to have our fellowship cranked. And then willpower is our third stat, so... Wow, our willpower is nice and low. You're not going to be getting huge boosts out of that. Void Ship, Patient Fortune. The Sword-class frigate is a classic void ship design, proven in thousands of battles, combining decent firepower, high speed, and respectable survivability. Our ship's name is the Patient Fortune, that's fine by me. And our own name will be Hark. H-A-R-K. Apply. Alright, now I think this game may be over-voiced. We may end up turning off voice acting so that I can do a little more reading myself. We'll see how it feels. Here goes. Nice frame rate, folks. It looks bad to me, too. I'm on a bad laptop. Oh no, poor little servo skulls at 15 frames per second. They zoom about the place. Into the Grand Cathedral. You may notice music is switched off. I much prefer ambience.
An excellent place for contemplation.
The man who has approached us is gazing.
One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation.
Overvoiced. Voice volume 0. Save. An excellent place for contemplation. The man who's approached us is gazing down into the depths of the vast temple on one of the lower decks. One has the best view of the cathedral from here. Mesmerizing, wouldn't you say? An impeccable manifestation of the God Emperor's sublimity. Truly an awe-inspiring sight. Frankly, such access can be tiring at times. All this ostentatious luxury, this laughable pretense, it is rather enough to make one think the architects meant to compensate rather than glorify. He casts an intriguing eye over us. An interesting perspective. However, allow me to offer you a bit of advice. In the interests of your own well-being, you should frame your thoughts with greater piety. Demonstrating such a lack of care when choosing your words might be viewed by certain people as evidence of insufficient trepidation before the God Emperor, master of humanity. I merely criticize the talentless architects of this place, nothing more. I understand, but the particularities of my craft have made me a perceptive individual capable of seeing through to the root of things, unlike millions of his devout servants. Trust me, your words could easily be interpreted a different way, especially by one inclined to do so. Allow me to introduce myself, Conrad Voidveer, Master of Whispers in the employ of Her Ladyship Rogue Trader Theodora von Valencius. At your service. I haven't had the pleasure of speaking with you in person before. He bows his head and focuses his attention on us. My name is Hark. He's back. My regards, Hark. Voidveer looks us up and down with a thin smile. Or should I say, Hark von Valencius, scion of a blessed rogue trader house in the service of the Imperium. Perhaps this kinship came as a shock to you. Understandably so, given all the evidence of the connection was lost in the generations separating you and the Lord Captain Theodora. It required no small effort on the part of Her Ladyship's servants to discover and verify this blood tie, which has now made you one of the heirs of this dynasty. Lord Captain, a strange title for the Lady Theodora. Such are the traditions of the Imperium. Lord Captain is the title that was established in the annals of the Lex Imperialis at the time when the first rogue traders entered the God Emperor's service, and therefore it is sacrosanct. Why am I aboard this vessel? Why have I been brought here? So that you may fulfill your blood duty, Hark. Whatever obligations you had before, they are henceforth null and void. By order of the Lord Captain, you have been requisitioned to serve the rogue trader in deeds blessed by the God Emperor. Your former position may have been different from conventional service as part of one of the institutions of the Imperium, but from now on, a different fate awaits you, one chosen for you by the Lord Captain. I advise you to come to terms with this reality as quickly as possible. You have a curious title, Master of Whispers. What are your responsibilities? To put it plainly, I am the head of the network of spies and informers who serve the interests of House von Valencius. I uncover weak links among both Lady Theodora's retinue and in the ranks of her rivals. I eliminate our vulnerabilities and exploit those of others. Tell me about the one on whose ship I find myself. I would rather not discuss the Lord Captain behind her back, especially not on board her ship. No one knows better than I that whispers are wont to attract particularly close attention. Voidveer laughs and shakes his head. Suffice it to say that her ladyship is the bearer of the sacred warrant of trade, and a woman of immense power and entitlement. However privileged your position may be, I ask you to not incur her anger by being disrespectful or obtuse. Lady Theodora despises both qualities. You say I am one of her heirs, so is there another candidate? He shrugs slightly. There is, and you will meet him soon enough. You say that I am one of the rogue trader's heirs. I assume you had some goal in mind when you decided to seek me out. Let us address it. But of course, I have come to invite you to a meeting with Lady Theodora. I imagine you have many questions for your patroness, and I'm sure she has just as many questions for you. It is regrettable that you haven't yet had much of an opportunity to speak. It is an arduous voyage thus far we have made. The Lord Captain and Master Edelthrad von Valencius are conversing on the observation platform. Let us join them there. End the dialogue. Oh, the frames, the frames, the frames. Let's see if we can crank our frame rate down. It is turned on. I guess you just can't start as one of those guys. That's funny. I've only got the Toy Box mod on, which has a zillion options in it. What if we go to our graphics and we make them a little bit less fancy, low? Apply. Yes. A little better. We're moving very fast, you may notice. That's a Toy Box feature. Because fuck slow stumbling. Some objects can be interacted with in a special way. Toggle tab, that's another Toy Box feature. That warp jump was surprisingly uneventful. One a couple cycles ago, now that one was tough. The delirium took hold of so many, and the witch was up to her old tricks again. I heard the Seneschal gave the senior officers another public dressing down recently. I don't know what it was for this time, but Rosarian would latch onto any sign-up slip-up as an excuse to give someone an earful. Have you heard? Apparently the lower decks got a big influx of blood after the last on-world resupply. There's some pestilence spreading through the crew, and that's why we had to make up for the shortfall. Last time it was blue leprosy that culled our ranks. Mercenary Steward, greetings, my lord. Deck Enforcer. If I see you raise your head again, I'll hand you over to the Tech Priest for servitorization. The crew member is hard at work, bowing his head in fear and avoiding even looking at us. Show the data on the vid screen. Lay people interfering in the operation of the sacred mechanisms disturbs the machine spirits. In the name of the Omnisci, I refrain from any further profane acts. The sacred mechanism has been interfered with without due reverence. The duration of the data processing cycle has tripled. My apologies, team. What if we looked at this list again? What exactly is available to us here? Is this a cheats menu? Is it another bag of tricks, I think? Dialogue. That's interesting. Override story occupation. Cheats, let's see. Infinite abilities, no. Doesn't look like there's an infinite, like a always pass all skill checks that I see. Experience multipliers. Oh, dice rolls, here we go. Skill checks, take 50. Yes. Friendly. Wait, is take 50 or take 1 good? I don't know which of these is good. I assume take 50 is good. Well, if we start failing things, we'll know that we should change it to take 1. Or maybe we should change it to take 1 first and see if that produces only critical failures. We'll see. If we start failing everywhere, we may need to reload. Or just live with it. It's not a big deal. We could always just play with infinite failure turned on. How long do we have to wait for an audience? How many days has it been already? Worker, the crew member's hard at work, bowing his head in fear and avoiding even looking at us. Servitor. As we approach, something in the servitor's body begins to hum as if in response to our presence. After a couple of seconds, the noise subsides. Conrad Voidveer. Hello, Conrad. Crunch, 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 crunch. One of the Von Valencia's trophy rooms. Perhaps you'd like to take a look around after your audience with the Lord Captain. Maybe. Vroom. Uh-oh. What's happening? The servitors are going berserk. Uh-oh. We're in trouble. Ah, berserk. We've been ambushed. The battle begins. To survive in the grim darkness of the future. We don't need to read these. Hark, shoot, and don't let it get close. Oh wow, my cursor's even lagging now. We have been ambushed. The battle begins. With this many people on screen, it's slowing down. Well, there'll be more people on screen later. Oh, those guys they ceased. Joint analysis. Movement and combat. Yup. So, I'm gonna move a little closer, I guess. Or what have I got here as my moves? Voice of command. Increasing characteristics. Have I got a bonus turn? No. No bonus turn. I could just give somebody a bunch of bonus stats, though. So, I'm gonna say you serve me, and then I'm gonna spend the bonus stats on him. Can't? He's not my party, I guess. That's an ally. Unfriendly creature. Why can't I target him? I can target him. What could this mean? Oh well. So did you serve me cost nothing? It does cost 0 AP, that's cool. Let's get a hit in on this servitor, though. Pistol shot. Yeah, you can only attack once unless you gain an ability to let you attack more than once. Ooh! Whiff. Can I reload? Yes. There we go. Wow, this is officer material these days? Oh, demoted. Alright, Conrad, let's make this happen. So I really can't bless him, huh? That's funny. What does this do? Is it just one turn? Just for one round? How long is a round? When would this be useful? Maybe Voice of Command has a really long range. Or it has no range. Oh, it looks like it has no range on it. A 10 cell radius. So when would this be useful? Because you never really get to act again. I don't know. Who can say? Oh. Are we going to die here in the tutorial? Conrad, I need you to attack. Conrad, I really need you to attack. Oh, you can't move after you attack, huh? Well, forgot about that. We're in trouble. Yeah, kill Conrad. Take him out. That will change the story significantly. He's too evasive. He's too sneaky. Too sneaky, Mr. Conrad. Attack denial. Wow. Characters with melee weapons block. I wanted to read the tutorial. From attacks with ranged weapons, pistols and shotguns are the exception. They can be fired at point blank range. What suspiciously poor timing for such an accident. Servitors malfunction on the officer's deck at exactly the same moment when the rogue trader and her heirs are gathered here. Without taking his eyes off the bodies on the floor, Voidveer removes the Voxcaster from his belt and speaks a few quick orders into the device. Then he turns to us. I've blocked all passages between the upper and lower sectors of the residential decks. If this is a deliberate attack, it should stop the culprits from advancing their plans. Miss Lily, what you looking at me like that for? What you looking at me for, huh? You just looking and looking and looking? You want the ball thrown? Whew. The lines on Voidveer's forehead soften and his voice regains its usual courtesy. I'm afraid I must remain here, Hark. For Lady Theodora's safety, I have to oversee the execution of these orders personally. I hope you'll have no difficulty reaching the observation platform on your own. It is just at the end of the corridor. He gives us a curt bow. I guess I won't be inspecting the trophies. And open the map with M to orient yourself. Game saved. The frames. Oh, we're so fast. It's only like 3 times faster than normal, but it feels pretty good. Servitor. Tech Priest. Servitor, what are you doing, Tech Priest? The tech litany for machine placidity is required. Vox casting to initiate the consecration of unguents and the preparation of technomats. Stop licking, Lily, stop. Stop licking. Stop licking, Lily, stop licking. Adelthrad says, "That is simply irrational, Lady Theodora," says a man dressed in peculiar garb, his voice tight with tension. His face, half of which is covered by sin skin, is twisted with a grimace of displeasure and disbelief. Assimilation into the trade structure would be political and economic suicide, practically an admission of heresy. The tall, gray-haired woman pins him with her gaze, her cybernetic eye flashing crimson, and suggests an alternative that will satisfy me. I have described the situation, no worse than my seneschal could have done. Make a decision. What will you do with Aeon 6, Adelthrad? Survey the room. Our first impression of Adelthrad, who appears to be about 30 years old, is of parchment-like skin stretched over a tightly bundled mass of sinew, implants, and bone. The nervously twitching fingers, the face twisted by a slight tic, and the jerky movements are all signs of some illness or defect that has taken over his physical form. In stark contrast to Adelthrad, Theodora von Valencius's features appear as if they were carved from marble, eternal and indestructible. Head raised high, proud posture, hands clasped casually behind her back. Everything seems to emphasize the difference in status between her and Adelthrad. Next to the two of them, we see 2 more men. One is a gray-haired officer of impeccable bearing who is studying the contents of his data slate. The other is a behemoth bristling with holsters and baldricks containing all manner of weapons. Our second candidate has joined us. The dry female voice and the powerful feeling of being watched force us to look at Theodora. The rogue trader is looking straight at us, and her gaze, like herself, is predatory and oppressive. Hark, approach, and give me your answer. Consider this hypothetical situation. Aeon 6, a new world on the fringes of the Coronis expanse. High seismic activity, regular magma eruptions, metamorphic rock deposits, prospects for large-scale mining. The world is populated by natives who worship some heretical underworld spirits that protect those who offer them sacrifices. Flights of fancy, you might say. But attempts to install ore extractors have failed for the second time. The mining crews sent to the planet's surface simply vanished overnight. My question to you is, what would you do with this poison? What would you do with this poisoned treasure? Those spirits could well be the natives' name for dangerous aliens. I would first verify if there is indeed the case in the population of Aeon 6 engaged in Xeno worship. Whereas no way to confirm what is happening on 6 is witchcraft or not. It might cost several psychers to do so, but it will give us the answer. We can go with the lore's warp. She smirks. Thorough but presumptuous. It took me a great deal to find one psyker who could serve me well for many years, yet you speak of several. Adelthrad looks at us with the warmth of a snake. Sanctioned psychers are rare and valuable instruments of the Golden Throne. Or do you, Hark, suggest we use heretics who are an offense to the God Emperor's light? It would be rather careless of you to utter such profanity in the presence of his faithful servants. I gave a straight answer to a simple question, which, as I understand, was still more than you could do, Adelthrad. The color drains from Adelthrad's face, which distorts his features further. Insolent, ignorant upstart, how dare you? Adelthrad, Theodora's tone renders him silent. I believe I gave you an assignment on this ship. Explain to me then why my senior congregator is still dawdling about the officers' decks instead of proceeding to the middle decks to commence the inspection of the compartments in his purview. I beg your forgiveness, Lady Theodora. Your presence has such a profound effect on me that I well forgot the time. Adelthrod bows ceremoniously and takes his leave without sparing us another look. Creak, he creeps away. Her gaze follows him as he leaves. Then she turns to us. So, Hark, why are you here? There are questions that I wish to have answered. You are direct, I approve, but you will have to wait. There is something I want you to understand first. My name is Theodora von Valencius Massimo of Scaros. I am a rogue trader in the service of the God Emperor of humanity, and my rights and freedoms are vindicated by a most sacred relic, the warrant of trade kept aboard this very vessel. Mine is the honor to venture into the darkness beyond the Imperium, and carry humanity's light where powers wicked and heretical reign and bode death and ruin to us all. It is my decision alone to determine the fate of whatever I find past the bounds of the explored void. Every world I discover, along with all there is to be found thereon, resources, people, riches, and mysteries, is mine by right. I command millions of lives, rule over numerous planets, and possess fortunes that no planetary governor or commander could dream of amassing. And you, Hark, are one of those with von Valencia's blood in their veins, and a rightful claim to this inheritance when the hour comes. I am ready to take on this sacred purpose. Oh yes, you would be, wouldn't you? The question is, am I ready to have you over the rest? You came aboard hours before the warp jump and have not yet distinguished yourself in any way. As things currently stand, I have doubts that you are suitable for the role of rogue trader. Bloodright alone does not yet earn the high honor of becoming the bearer of a warrant of trade. Nonetheless, your abilities and talents may yet prove useful, if not for the role of Lord Captain, then for that of their closest ally. Theodora sighs and looks away pensively for a brief moment. Alas, even these responsibilities can be at times too challenging for those who share your blood. Conrad Voigtveer served me for many years before he made his mistake. Did I hear you correctly? The Master of Whispers is related to you. His kinship to me is most distant, as is yours. Nonetheless, he does bear the name von Valencius, even if he avoids using it publicly, and as such, strictly speaking, can be considered my heir. That door, though, is closed to him. Voigtveer's performance in his current role is satisfactory, or used to be, at least. Does that mean there are other heirs? Naturally. Some have yet to arrive on board, but you have had the pleasure of meeting one of them. Adelthrod may be somewhat disconcerted by the scale of the responsibilities that may potentially fall upon his shoulders. However, I have a good feeling about him as a candidate. If you're satisfied with Adelthrod, then what sense is there in having this conversation? Why are you wasting your time on me? She shakes her head. Impatience. I am rather fond of impatient people. They are not as quick to resign themselves to circumstance and more eager to show initiative. Even if I do choose Adelthrod as my successor, I will still require loyal advisors. The skills and knowledge you acquired in your former life may prove invaluable here in the Coronis expanse. Your noble descent is a sign that the power lives in your very flesh and blood. You would never doubt your words or actions, never show weakness, never let an involuntary gesture or a careless word betray your fears or agitation, at least if your upbringing was as thorough as mine was at the time. Many will grovel at your feet, governors, commanders, highborn navigators, conceited lords, and you cannot allow them to sense weakness in one who stands above them. Moreover, she inclines her head slightly, your remarkable mental abilities were noted in your profile. If you can find a way to exhibit them in the service of the von Valencius dynasty, well, so much the better. We're so bright. Thanks for clarifying. May I ask my questions now? The vox affixed to Theodora's attire suddenly comes to life, but all we can hear is unintelligible noise. She winces, shuts off the transmission, and gives us an imperious nod. I have some time before the navigator gives the signal to initiate the void ship's translation out of the warp, and my presence is required on the bridge. We know about navigators. An incident took place on the officer's deck. Some servitors went berserk and attacked the crew. Is that so? Perhaps the technomats were careless during maintenance. Or it could be the warp playing tricks on us in spite of the Keller field. Or perhaps there's something to those stories about the ship being possessed after all. She laughs nonchalantly. The gray-haired officer gives the rogue trader a look of cautious disapproval. Lady Theodora, for the God Emperor's sake, surely you do not intend to start repeating idle rumors spread by the uneducated riffraff. Enough, Abelard. Such hearsay amuses me. Idira eagerly retells me everything she learns from the whispers of her unseen